Lights on. And again, Andy Ringler making him wait a reasonably long time. Pole position, Max Edmondson with Josh Martin alongside as they go down into Paddock Hill Bend. Second row, Dan Seelos and Matt Richards. So we've got some quality drivers up at the sharp end of things. There is the race one winner. Dave Marshall looking to try and make up a few bases on the opening lap. Yeah, Edmondson makes a good start. Dan Seelos in the mix as well, trying to come through. But Max Edmondson, a good opportunity, as in the real world championship here, for a driver who might not otherwise get the focus to just be seen at the front of the grid and have that pressure of being at the front. And Nathan, can you remember the first time you did it at the front a lot? Can you remember the first time that you get to the front? What's that pressure like?
I can remember my first reverse pole. I was very, very, very nervous, but then again, it builds that confidence for you. So it is a good thing to see these reverse pit races because it gives the other people an opportunity to be at the front and experience the pressure of being up there. So yeah, for me it gave me that confidence to carry on, think actually I can do this, and it built so much confidence for me as an actual driver.
Starting it out with Mike Epps, that's a good perspective to have. And again, this is like what Max Edmondson here is going to be learning from this experience. As the other riders, Dave Marshall, incidentally, already up into 8th place from 12th on the grid. Wants top 5, wants to be ahead of Jack Mack. He is at the moment because Jack Mack is down in 12th place. So McIntyre, again, don't write him off being in 12th place because he's decided he's actually worked his way through. There is Dave Marshall chasing Jordan Brennan at the moment, the Ollie Riggs car immediately in front of him, and some cracking dicing going on between the pair of them. Josh Martin, briefly we were on board with his P2, and it's Max Edmondson and even Matt Richards in third place from Dan Seelos, and Coates in the mix here, and through on the inside line goes Mike Epps. Great move by Mike Epps. Great to have that overhead shot. We've even got a simulated drone. Unfortunately, the commentator is still droning to be on the real drone as opposed to simulating one. But Epps looking good here, up to 5th place. He's made a lot of progress on his own lap, which is good to see.
Yeah, Epps is doing extremely well. This is where you make most of your races is the first couple of laps, and be on it straight away. It just makes your race so much easier towards the end.
Brennan and Robbie Stapleford in the orange and black car was on the outside line. It's got so Stapleford into 8th place. He's going to be trying to crack Dave Marshall. He's got a couple of lengths or so on that to try and close up at the moment. Ryan Elliott coming into the mix as well in 10th position. So Ryan there, the 0-2 car getting stuck in. Very, very strong argy there with Rob Butler as well. Rob had a good move, remember, late doors in that first race. Wide run for Jack Mack, very wide, drops him down to 15th place. And time by time, that was the incident with Elliott that caused that. Again, more shenanigans going on there. And Jack Mack involved with that. Dave Marshall now 7th, chasing this man, Max Coates. So let's see whether Dave Marshall closed down on Max Coates to get himself into that top 5. It is still Max Edmondson out front in the number 4 car, the Riggs Esports racing team. Real world driver, and it's running well. Ryan Elliott back in 11th place, Max Bird behind him. Then Ethan Aberton, Ethan looking a little bit stronger in this one, so maybe betting himself back into esports racing. Not sure what other championships he's been working on. Alfie Glennie making a bit of progress this time, he's up into 25th place, so good to see Alfie making some moves up the order as well. On the inside line goes Matt Richards, and this is a super move by Matt Richards, and let's see whether he can make it through. Is he going to hang on to it? Great overhead shot here. So Josh Martin still trying to hang on to that as well, but Martin relegated to 3rd place. He will fight back, but Matt Richards up into P2 and will start the hunt now, unless he has to go defensive again. It's one thing getting past. At what point, Nathan, do you start thinking, actually, yeah, I don't need to defend? Are you looking in the mirror to see how much clear air you've got?
Yeah, you always look to see how much clear air you've got. For me, every time I make a move, I'll just cover that next corner just to be sure. And after that, near enough covered then. But this has definitely helped Zelos out. He's on him now.
Yeah, Dan Zelos looking to try and get onto the podium. Right, Ensis 5th, Max Coach 6th. Then Dave Marshall, Robbie Staples with Jordan Brennan in 9th. Rob Butler wraps up the top 10 at the moment from Ryan Elliott. And look at that battle there. Max Coach still very much involved in things as Dave Marshall goes wide into Paddock Hill. Ben Staples put through on the inside line. And again, there was more contact there and off into the barrier. Massive hit. And that was Max Coach, or was it no, Jordan Brennan dropping down the order. Jordan Brennan right the way down, and he's going to be out of the race. And well, Andy Ringland is going to be busy, certainly after this, to have a look at everything going on. And particularly when you've got championship contenders, or expected championship contenders like Jordan Brennan getting involved there. But we're looking at Robbie Stapleton, 6th place at the moment. Dave Marshall right behind him. Stapleton has managed to get in front of the championship leader. It's still Max Edmondson out front at the moment with 6 laps completed. We're into the second quarter of this race. Edmondson, he's driven really well, hasn't he, off the front? Made the most of that opportunity.
He has. He literally has just kept his nose clean and just kept it consistent. And that's the main thing with these minis racing, is just keeping it consistent every single lap and just staying out of trouble. And hopefully you're there for the end of the race, which 9 times out of 10 it works out in mini racing.
So Dave Marshall busy challenging Robbie at the moment. A little bit of contact, starts to drop back a little bit, but he'll be back on it. He knows that every single point this year is going to count. Not that it didn't last year, but the points are that much tighter this year. Max Coates still busy working hard as well. There was Max Bird in the number 10. Must admit, I was getting confused with the 44s earlier on. In fact, normally we're used to seeing him in
normally 44, yeah.
He is, yeah. That threw me a little bit earlier on, but Max is familiar with the livery. Double winner at Knock Hill this year. That was a day for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he drove well that weekend. For me, Knock Hill was an absolute disaster.
I think ultimately it was for Max, because he did the
third race. He did, yeah.
Well, up in hospital. It's one of the. I know everybody loves the coverage, but we miss a lot by not seeing the Saturday races, don't we? Because very often the viewers come in and it's a reverse grid race, and we kind of we try and get the whole story across in the commentary. But very often the viewers can miss out on what's happening early doors.
Can do. Sometimes for me, the Saturday race, it seems sometimes we have better races on the Saturday than we do the Sunday. But yeah, the Saturday racing was, especially at Knock Hill, was good. But then again, the Sunday race was really good with the reverse grid, and Knock Hill being such a tight circuit. There was some good moves and some good coverage on that Sunday's race.
Yeah, I always love the visit. To be honest, there aren't any tracks that I dislike going to. I mean, they're all good. They've all got their quirks and areas which provide some super racing. So, looking forward to. Not that it's my birthday weekend, so I'm sure I'll run over on Sunday morning.
That's the key.
So Dan Zelos, 4th position at the moment. Josh Martin in front of him. So this is the 4th place car trying to close down on 3rd position at the moment into Paddock Hill Bend. And Dan Zelos here, just having a quick look. Where was Dan? He's going to be scoring some decent points, as he does in the Real World Championship. And bangs in a win here and there, and then gets some consistent points along the way as well. I think Dan's one of the drivers not to have the end of this year.
He was, yeah. But last year, Dan was consistent, and I think he was the only one within the top 5 or 6 in the championship. He didn't actually have a DNF. He was just, he was always there, just kept his nose clean all year. And in fairness to him, he done a good job and pipped and the last race running for 2nd in the championship. So he drove exceptionally well last year.
It takes me back to the year before last, when we had you were the top point scorer. You were unusually, it's very, very rare that we get the drop score situation come into a Real World Championship to affect it, but it did, didn't it? You were the top scorer, and Jiggy outdone you, didn't he, on drop scores? Dan Zelos on the inside. Now, it's me busy talking about points. We'll come back to that in a minute, but Dan Zelos here up into 3rd position. This is brave stuff around the outside line here. I'll tell you what, Josh Martin read that pretty well.
He did. He's not giving that place up easy, is he?
And Epps is coming up into the mix as well. So no, he's not. So he lost through and big sideways moment there for Josh
Keep
Martin.
your foot in.
Yeah, he'll keep going. Here comes Robbie Stapleton, wants a bit of the action as well now, edging out the inside line. Well, fair play to Josh Martin, he was entertaining his spoiler there, but Dan Sealos up to third place. Mike Epps here could be on for another podium. Do you know what? That sort of consistency might afford him championship lead at the end of the day.
Exactly that. That's what you need. Just consistent. Just keep bagging them points. There at the end of the year.
Josh and Robbie getting stuck in. Dave Marshall needs to be careful here as well. What he doesn't want to do is have a non-finish by getting involved in what could be a potentially volatile scrap here. He'll know that. He'll have a look. He's 2 places shy of his target at the moment. We've got just under, or just into the second half of this race, and Dave finally makes it past. But Josh Martin, some robust. I know some people don't like the use of the word robust, but there was some robust racing there from Josh. So Robbie Stapleton 5th now. Dave Marshall is in 6th place, and it's still Max Edmondson out front from Matt Richards. So Edmondson from Richards, Dan Sealos 3rd, Mike Epps in 4th. Epps with 3rd place in the first race gets 15, including 28 points, 29 because he gets a point in pole position. And Dave Marshall gets 20, so 30 points for Dave Marshall, potentially championship here. We'll try and do the maths as I go along and work it out. And so on board with Mike Epps, looking really good here, and on for perhaps another podium.
I think he is. I think Dan will be wise to that. Dan's just cover his line. He should be okay.
So Edmondson crosses the line, still in lead position. I haven't seen a lot of the race leader, but a super start from him. And he's held his nerve for over half of this race so far. This is the Epps-Sealos battle now, and Epps down the inside line, 2 turns up.
Good move.
Oh, right,
Good
yeah,
move,
brilliant move into Druids, and teed him up and gets up onto the podium. Brilliant stuff.
Very last second move, but it worked out for Mike Epps.
Yeah. Great start, and up onto a podium. So at the moment, the only driver potentially to have had 2 podia out of both races, which is going to be a pretty mega result for him if he can hold on to it. There's no reason to suppose that he won't. So let's have a quick look and see where Jack McIntyre is. He's down in 14th place, which is going to be 2 points. So McIntyre's going to be out of contention in terms of the championship lead. Dave Marshall still in 6th with 10. And Mike Epps is currently on for 15, which is 31. So Mike Epps potentially championship leader. And again, that's all subject to confirmation. I haven't made a caveat with my maths as we watch Max Bird. Still the 2 Maxes, Max Coates and Bird, the other Max Edmondson out front. Still ahead by 9/10. And Bird and Coates, as they would have done in the real world, still getting very well involved here. Up into clearways they come again. You can see here that Coates unable to take that wide sweep because that would have left the door open here for the Sussex youngster to nip on the inside line of the Yorkshire and move his car. Looking forward to starting to get a list of drivers that are coming back to various championships. Have a quick look down the order. Andy Dorman, another newcomer, 17th at the moment. Damien Hall up in 16th, ahead of Josh, just behind Josh Hislop, who in turn is behind Jack McIntyre. Liam Lambert 18th from 35 Simon Reed, and then Tom O'Farrell, Jack Dollar, Kenny Press, Josh Stanton, Jordan Brennan. I think managed to recover from his moment. Luke Hinton now for Glenny away, and Ethan Hamilton not with us sadly. But 5 minutes remaining on the clock. What are your thoughts on the race leader here? Do you think that Max is going to hang on to it now? He's being closed up on all the time, so he might have a bit more pressure.
He is slowly coming down. I think it's going to be interesting between Richards. I think he's going to give it full beans and try and take that win.
Have a crack at it for sure, but this is a very close battle that we're looking at the moment. Again, coming up Halewoods Hill. Towards Druids, Max Bird losing a little bit of momentum, closing up again under braking as they come into Druids. Max Coates busy having a look at Ryan Elliott in 9th place. Rob Butler's the car immediately ahead of them, a little way down the road. Dave Marshall up into 5th position now, ahead of Robbie Stapleton. So this was the achievement that Dave Marshall was hoping for. Made the prediction that he wanted, or the prediction he hoped for, or aimed for 5th position and to beat Jack McIntyre. At the moment he's on course to do that. 5th place takes him on to 11 points. Depending on fastest laps, championship time between himself and Mike Epps. So now Max Coates has a look down the inside line here, and a little bit of a barge on. Ryan Elliott goes through. Max Coates through into 9th place.
It's a good move, very, very, very late, but they made it work.
With that contact in the real world, would that have been a penalty, or would the club?
It's a hard one. Definitely a hard one. I think you'd definitely be called up to the clerk of the course. I think there'll be some footage to be shown, but I think you might just get away with that one.
Yeah. So Ryan Elliott then now has to try and get back, because Spurs took the opportunity to go past as well. Running in 11th place. Jack Davidson is 12th. He's the driver trying to hook himself onto those guys. 3 minutes 48 left on the clock. Still Max Edmondson leading from Matt Richards. 3/10 on the clock between T1
It's
and
coming
2.
down.
And this is it. This is the battle for the lead. The gap has come down. And Max Edmondson, newcomer to our championship, has held on superbly. Matt Richards, of course, we know is quick. And a little mistake there, I think Edmondson will be feeling the pressure here. Let's see whether Matt Richards can do anything as they come along the Cooper Straight into Surtees. We're on board with the 2nd place car. Matt Richards, you can see, can afford a slightly wider line. This is the racing line he's going for, and that could give him more momentum onto the Bradford Straight. Let's see whether that pays for him as they come through the Clark Curve now, onto the main straight, up the gears, getting closer and closer to the race leader. Is there going to be a gap? Not on the inside, goes to the outside line again, might give a little bit more speed to carry on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend and perhaps up towards Druids. Let's see what he can do. Nathan, talk us through the options here for the chaser.
He's done. Ooh.
Sorry, cut across you there.
I've been in that position before, going around the outside, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. That's the thing. In this opportunity, you've got to try anything you can, because Branton is such a difficult track to try and get past anyone. So if there's any opportunity, you've just got to go for it.
And it's bringing Mike Epps into the mix now. This is a three-way battle for the lead. Dan Seagoff's still in 4th place. Epps is closing up, and the front two will know that Mike Epps is there. We've got 2 minutes on the clock, and what a great way to head towards the end stages of our opening weekend of the season. So we're back with Max Bird, having a look at Max Coates, those two working hard, and that's all for very good championship points. In car with Epps on the right hand side of your screen, and closing in on them, and Matt Richards is going to be under pressure as well now, and that surely is going to take the pressure off Max Edmondson.
If I was in Mike Epps' situation now, I'll just let them both fight it out and try and take full advantage of one of them making a mistake and just coming through, because Mike's in such a good position now of getting good points. He just can't afford to make any mistakes.
No, it's worth hanging on to those points, isn't it? Because it's going to be neck and neck with Mike Epps, with Dave Marshall at the top of the championship. Marshall will be more concerned about the other sim races in terms of the point. He'll want the overall championship as well, for sure. But a quick look back from Edmondson with the Northcott logo on the car as well, from the Newsham family. So some valued support. We therefore call this one the Northcott blending machine, I guess. Here we come though. It is three cars for the lead as they come down into Grand Hill Bend again. 56 seconds left on the clock. Matt Richards relentless in his chase. Mike Epps has called them up, and a little bit of contact on the back end again. Nothing to dishevel the car out front, and it's Edmondson still holding on now, but
Epps is up the inside.
Epps is going up the inside for P2. Mike Epps coming up for P10. Let's see whether Epps can go through into the lead as well. He's on the inside line, and then Edmondson is under pressure from Mike Epps. That could be next to the championship lead potentially as well. He's looking at the back end of Max Edmondson's car, the Liquid Molly, and Northcott logos there, but Epps comes through. Not content, but now look at that round the outside. Matt Richards has come back. Richards has come back on the outside line. Epps is down to 3rd. And now look at this, but he goes up the inside line, there's a gap on the inside line, and X goes through into the lead. Read that superbly, X has got the lead. Edmondson challenging back, 6 seconds left on the clock. And it is still a three-way battle for the lead, but Mike Epps has come through. Dan Seeloss still in 4th place, Dave Marshall in 5th, and Mike Epps potentially is going to go away with the outright championship lead here, Nathan.
And that's what I was saying earlier about Mike, just sit there, let it all happen, and he done it, he just took full advantage of that, and where he is, leading the race now.
Well called, Nathan. That was absolutely great spot from you as we're on board with Dan Seeloss. He's closing in as well on the lead trio.
Seeloss can try and get a podium.
Yeah, this is what Dan Seeloss is very well capable of doing in real world. Closing up again. This is the last lap. The clock is down. Seeloss working hard to try and get onto the podium. But at the moment, it's Mike Epps, the race leader. Talk about doing things the hard way, doing it on a reverse grid race when you get the outright pole in the start of the meeting and wind up in 3rd place after a couple of tiny errors. He's more than made up for that, Epps. Matt Richards, dogged racing, 2nd position, is still there. So coming up through clearways for the last time. Onto Clark Curve and onto the Bradford Straight. Epps is going to take the win. And now we've got coming through Dave Marshall up into P4 on the inside line as Mike Epps takes the checkered flag. It's Matt Richards 2nd. Max Edmondson completes the podium. Super podium for Max Edmondson. Dave Marshall into 4th. Dan Seeloss down to 5th on the last lap. We were talking about him getting on the podium. Robert Stapleford comes through in 6th place. Josh Martin 7th from Rob Butler. Max Coates 9th, straight ahead of Max Bird. Ryan Elliott 11th from Jack Davidson. Then Isaac Smith, Jack McIntyre. Jack was in the points in 14th. Josh Hislop completing the point scorers in 15th place. David Hall next, so good run from him ahead of Andy Dorman. Jack Nolan, Tom O'Farrell, and then Simon Reed. So 2 great races to get us underway here for our 2021